What's going on, traders? Few things to talk about. It's going to be a pretty long video. We're going to get straight into it. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. First things first, hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. I caught up on tons of sleep. I wanted to go see Final Destination, but yeah, that didn't happen. All right, so maybe this upcoming weekend I'll go see it. But other than that, let's get straight into the charts. We're looking at the NASDAQ and we're looking at the 4-hour time frame. Now, interesting enough, we did gap down on the NASDAQ and it looks like we are still holding 21,300. We talked about this level before, and as long as we hold 21,300, there's still hope for bulls. Now, in my opinion, it looks like we're just simply filling this gap here all the way at 21,400, 21,500 more or less, and then possibly see more downside. But we can't really confirm that until we get out of this range, whether it's back to the upside or towards the downside. Now, if we do fill this gap, and let's say we are heading back towards the downside, obviously we want to see 21,300 get broken. We want to see a break, retest, and then chances are we're heading all the way towards 20,980, 21k. Lowest I am looking at right now is about 20,900, between 20,900, 20,800, right where these guys are. And if we are talking about a measured move for this rising wedge pattern, which is a bearish pattern, if we're talking about the measured move here and we're just basing our targets based on this, so all you do is measure the open and close, you bring it to the original breaking point, you can head as low as 19,800. Now, it's important to note that there is a short-term projected move for patterns and there's a measured move for patterns. So if we're talking about a short-term projected move for this pattern, you're looking at a move towards about 20,600, and all you do is just cut the measurement in half. So we could be looking at a move as low as 20,600 if we're considering this rising wedge pattern as a potential target, or the open and close of this rising wedge pattern as a potential target. Otherwise, if you don't believe in patterns, if you don't think patterns work, then just focus on the levels. And right now our levels is 21,300, 20,000, 21,000 psych level, 20,980, and lowest you could be looking at is about 20,800, 20,900 more or less. Now, when we're talking about upside here, it goes without saying 21,500 is your key level. All right, 21,500. You match, break, and hold above 21,500. Crazy enough, you can head as high as 22k. If we're balling it, we'll say 21,700, 21,800 range. So that is what you're looking at when it comes to upside and downside on the NASDAQ. And so we, of course, got to talk about the ES. Now, ES, I showed this in the Discord. We have this massive rising wedge pattern, but not only do we have this massive rising wedge pattern, we have a much smaller rising wedge pattern within the massive rising wedge pattern. So it looks like so far we broke below the much smaller rising wedge pattern. And so what we want to see here, if you're bullish, you want to see a break and hold above 5,950. If you manage to break and hold above 5,950, I wouldn't say you're out the park yet because you have a lot of resistance up here, but you could see a move towards 5,980, 6,000, and then you want to see a mount and hold above 6,000, and then chances are you might head towards previous highs if this is possible, or if this happens, I should say. All right, so that's what we're looking at when it comes to upside. Now, when it comes to downside here, we're already below 5,950. It looks like we're going to possibly retest this gap at 5,950. And if we just so happen to reject here, we could be looking at it more downside, and we could start heading towards 5,900, 5890 more or less. Lowest you could be looking at is the supply and demand zone here, all the way at 5,800. You give up 5,800, chances are you're heading towards this gap fill. All right. So you definitely want to see the supply and demand zone hold if you are bullish. If you're bearish, you want to see this thing get destroyed. You want to see this thing get bent over and violent things happen. All right, other than that, that's what we're looking at for upside and downside when it comes to the ES and the NASDAQ. So you guys asked me to go over SPX more. A few of you in the Discord asked me to go over this more as well. SPX. So when we go to the daily time frame here, it's kind of surprising how many YouTubers don't go over SPX. I think that's interesting, myself included. I never understood why I never went over it. I always thought I should. I just never did. But I think a lot of viewers just prefer to SPY because it's just easier to understand versus the futures and SPX and all that fun stuff. But either way, SPX, Friday we closed above this trend line here. So you bounced here, and then you did your thing here, you broke below it, and it looks like you retested here, but you did close above it. Now your key level here on the SPX is 5,900 when it comes to downside, and as you guys can see here, we hit some pretty serious resistance right here on SPX. These guys right here in this area. So if we are rejecting, which obviously we are, if we continue this rejection to the downside and we manage to give up 5,900, want to see a break retest, we can be heading towards this gap fill all the way here. Well, we'll start here, 5780. So 5780 is what you're looking at as your first target. So that's the start of the gap fill. You guys know that I always tell you that gaps have very strong support and resistance. But if you manage to break and hold below this 5780 target, then you can head as low as the gap fill at 5700. So that's what we're looking at when it comes to downside, right? And then we'll talk about the potential for more downside later on in the video, but that's what you're looking at for the short term if you're talking about more downside. Now, if the market decides to recover come tomorrow or maybe later this week, and let's say we're still holding 5900 on SPX, well, you want to see us break and hold above 6,000. I think that goes without saying. So 6,000, and then you get pretty illiquid, and you can head as high as about 6,100 on SPX. So it's not looking bad. It's not looking good when it comes to the SPX. We'll just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow at open. But overall, you're still holding key levels when it comes to the NASDAQ and the ES. Well, I wouldn't say the ES because 5950 did get broken, but your ultimate level for the ES is 5900. Your main level for SPX is 5900, obviously, and your main level for NQ is 5300. You want to see those hold if you're bullish. You want to see those break if you're bearish. All right, so SPY. So when it comes to the SPY, I mean, pretty much the same thing here. You see that we closed above this trend line here, but we hit resistance right about here. So we hit resistance. We ended up rejecting this resistance because we got that news after hours, right? Let's zoom in. So we bounced here. We bounced here. We hit this resistance. You can argue that this is some type of reversal hammer pattern. That's fine. I wouldn't argue with you there. And then you see a break below 590. 590 was your key level, and we somewhat closed below 590. The market doesn't officially close until 15 minutes after the actual bell, and so we did get below 590. As long as we stay below 590, if we open up below 590 coming into market open tomorrow, then we could be looking at a move as low as 582 for our first target. 582 is right here. I don't know why I don't have it marked. 582 right here, right where these guys are. So there's bulls here. There's a lot of bulls in this area. So I do imagine once we hit 582, we may see a bounce back towards the upside. I'm not saying we're going to like do one of these like, oh my God, Jupiter. Like, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're just going to create a lower high, and then we're going to at least fill one of these gaps to the downside. So at the 582, we'll just say 580 psych level. You're looking at a move towards 576, 575. And then lowest you could be looking at, if we're talking about this gap being filled, is about 570 before potentially seeing more upside. Now, I will say this much. Let's go over the triple Qs first, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on this, on all of this. So triple Qs looks completely different when we're talking about the SPY, in comparison to the SPY, I should say. You bounced here, right? You bounced here, and then you attempted to bounce here. It might be a little bit off, but you guys get the idea. And then you ended up hitting the bottom of this trend line, and ultimately, if you're considering what happened after hours, if you're counting what happened after hours Friday, then we ended up rejecting from here. And so your key levels when it comes to the triple Qs is 522. That's your main level there. You break and hold above 522. The sky is the limit. You can head towards the 530s. Pretty easy. And then after that, if you manage to get above 530, then you're looking at previous highs at that point, 538, 540, somewhere around that range. Your key level to the downside goes without saying, 520, but your main level, your level of all levels, is 515. If you zoom out and you look to the left, you see right here is where you're getting this level from, this 515 level from. Currently after hours, I don't know about after hours now, but Friday after hours, you did see us get below 515. So if the triple Q stays below 515, you're heading towards 510. Okay, 510 if it stays below 515. So 510 is your next key level. After that, you are looking at a move towards 500. Okay, 500, 499 on the triple Qs, and then obviously from there you're looking at this gap fill all the way at 494 if we continue to see more downside. So there's nothing but darkness, despair, Diddy. It's a party down here. All right, bears are drooling right now, and this is what I've been warning about for quite some time. I pretty much said that I do expect another drop to come in May, the month of May. I never said it was going to happen the following week or next week. I just simply said May, and people just started losing their minds, and that's fine. But one thing I will say when it comes to bulls, I don't think this news, this moody news, is enough to really tank the market. So I wouldn't be surprised that we see a bit more upside from here. Maybe we see some slight recovery from here. And I'm not guaranteeing that. Obviously, more news can come out, more bad news can come out, or even good news can come out. Maybe Trump made some huge deal overseas. Who knows? Supposedly he's supposed to announce something once he comes back, all that fun stuff. But ultimately, I don't think this news is enough to truly tank the market right now. 2011, I showed you guys what happened in 2011 and 2023. There was a bunch of other things happening during that time that helped dump the market, and the whole drop in credit rating was just a add-on to that. So we'll see. But right now, I don't think this news is enough. So just pay attention to news. There's definitely more that can come out. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, we're not necessarily looking too bad, but we're not looking great either, right? I mean, obviously, bulls are still somewhat in control. But my thought process here is that hedge funds are going to want the market to dump. They're going to try to discount the market. And I imagine we're probably going to get more bad news in order for them to catch up and start joining in on this rally back towards the upside. As you guys know, I do expect a rally to happen within the summertime, right? So despite me thinking the market is going to tank again for the month of May, early June, if we're pushing it, I still think we're going to recover back towards the upside. Now, whether we recover from here or down here, right now I'm just leaning towards a double bottom happening. But let's say we recover from here, maybe create some higher low. I still think summertime we're going to see a move back towards previous highs, if not all-time highs, right? So I've been saying that for quite some time. I don't know why people are getting offended and raging in the comments. A lot of you are older than me. That's insane. Like, some of you are older than me, like 40s and all that, and like talking, acting like children in the comments. It's insane. But regardless, that's my thought process when it comes to the market. I do think we're going to go over more in a bit. We're going to go over Bitcoin and all that fun stuff and gold. But I do think that right now, hedge funds are looking for an opportunity to join in on the rally, and they're going to want the market to be discounted, right? They're going to want to, because we know that the retailers are pretty much in control of this market. So no matter what bad news we get, no matter what good news we get, retailers are pretty much getting greedy. You see that on the Fear and Greed Index, even though I think that thing is a scam. We're seeing that retail traders are getting really, really greedy. And so it's only a matter of time before hedge funds are going to want to jump into this. They're probably already in, but they're definitely going to want more discounts to happen across the market. So I do imagine that the best discount you can get is at least one of these gap fills, if not all of these gap fills, before heading back towards the upside. And so that leads me to talk about Bitcoin. So one thing we do know is that, or we did know at some point in time, is that Bitcoin is somewhat of a leading indicator. But right now, Bitcoin could be treated as a safe haven, right? It could be. Now, I told you guys before that Bitcoin can head as high as about minimum. We're looking at about 108K. Highest I'm looking at is about 112K, between 112, 115K. So right now, Bitcoin is at resistance. We're looking at 105,650. As long as Bitcoin stays above 105,650, let's go to the 2-hour time frame. You guys know I base my entries off of there. If we can stay above 105,650, Bitcoin can definitely head as high as 109K, 110K if we're talking about our psych levels. So that's what we're looking at for Bitcoin. So looking good. You broke out of this trend, you retested the trend, and you broke out again. I mean, you can form a double top here, very much possible. But right now, what I'm looking at is a possible move back towards, continued move towards the upside all the way to 109K. And then we'll have to see what happens from there. Now, if for some reason Bitcoin dumps from here, then you'll just have a double top pattern. Your neckline will be all the way at about 103K. We'll just say 103K, and then from there, you're not looking too good when it comes to Bitcoin. So we'll see. But so far, it's looking good. You're above 105K. That's a good sign. You just want to see us hold above 105,650. Kind of having a hard time here, so we'll see. And that's pretty much the video. I guess we can go over the VIX real quick. Oh, I did say we're going to go over gold. I guess we can go over VIX real quick. So VIX pretty much at this support level all the way right here. So you just zoom out, look to the left, boom. So this is where we closed on the VIX, and crazy enough, after hours, after we closed here on the VIX, we got that news from Moody, right? So kind of crazy. Our Discord bot did alert us that 25 calls did come in. Institutions did take 25 calls, 25 strike calls. So that would probably take us all the way to about 27, clear out this wick up here, and then we'll see what happens from there. You also have resistance up here as well. So right about here. No, actually it's here. There you go. So you're looking about a move towards 28, and then we'll see what happens from there when it comes to the VIX. If the VIX continues to head towards the upside and the market continues to dump. Last but not least, gold. So when it comes to gold, I imagine gold liked the news that we just got, or I shouldn't say liked the news, but gold is going to be treated as a safe haven when it comes to that news, and so we're seeing a rotation back into gold. I mean, you have a inverse head and shoulders pattern here, you have a low here, higher low here. You break above, what is this? I would say about 3250 on gold. So you want to see one of these moves, obviously, break, retest, and then you can definitely head higher. You can be looking back at previous highs on gold. Now, if we zoom out here, let's actually go to the weekly time frame. If you zoom out, you do have a pretty massive bull flag on the weekly time frame here. You got your rejection here, your bounce here, your bounce here. I don't know if you guys can see these wicks, but this is a pretty clean bull flag, I will say. So yeah, I mean, over the daily time frame, it looks a lot cleaner. So the measured move for this is about 4,200 on gold. So I don't know if gold is going to head that high, but given the conditions of the market and given what we just heard on, what was it, Friday, gold can, if we're treating gold as a safe haven, gold can definitely head much higher. All right, we'll have to wait and see if this bull flag plays out, but highs we could be looking at for now is all the way to the top of this bull flag at around previous highs, 3,300, 3,350, something like that. Right now, my target for gold, if we're talking about upside, is about 3,600. So we'll see. But other than that, that's really all I have. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think the market is going to continue to tank? Do you think the market is this is just something that's going to blow over? Retail traders are still in control. We're still going to go to all-time highs, all that fun stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And until the next video, traders, have a good one.